Section 11.4. Our objective today is I know and can use the formula for area of a regular polygon. Remember, a regular polygon has both congruent sides and congruent angles, so that's equilateral and equiangular. Any regular polygon can be inscribed in a circle. And so notice that the sides of the polygon become chords of the circle, and the vertices of the polygon become inscribed angles. And so therefore we can use a lot of the things that we've learned about circles to help us solve things about polygons. Okay? And so if I have a regular polygon, the center of the regular polygon is the center of the circumscribed circle. So in this one, my center would be A, because if I put a circle around that polygon, A would be the center of the circle. The radius would be the distance from the center to a vertex, which again would be the radius of the circle. Okay? We have a central angle. Okay? So in this picture, I have central angle DAQ. Okay? So remember, the central angle is an angle formed by two radii drawn to consecutive vertices. Okay? The measure of the central angle is just 360 divided by number of sides. So 360 divided by n, where n equals number of sides. Okay? So for instance, in this picture, my polygon has 6 sides. So the central angle would have measure of 60 degrees. Okay? Because 360 divided by 6 is 60 degrees. So in other words, angle PAQ is 60 degrees. And then we have a new term, and that is the apothem. Okay, the apothem is, well, let's look at PAQ here. Forms a triangle, an isosceles triangle, and AB is what we call the apothem. So the apothem is the altitude of the triangles. Okay, so the distance from the center to the opposite side. So it's an altitude. So the apothem is the altitude from the center to the opposite side. Okay? All right. Then that brings us to our theorem. So the theorem for area of a regular polygon is the following. The area of a regular polygon is equal to half the product of the apothem and the perimeter. okay? So area is equal 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. So A stands for apothem, P stands for perimeter. And really, all we're doing is adding up the area of the triangles that are formed by the radii of the regular polygon. So notice that there are 6 triangles, and remember that the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay, so the apothem is the height of the triangle, and the perimeter just adds up all the bases. So that's all we are really doing. Okay, so example. So let's say I have a equilateral triangle with side of S. And here's the center. The apothem has a length of 9. And this angle has a length of 30, or a measure of 30. Because remember, all these angles are 60. And so if I bisect the angle, it gives me 30. So this is 1/2 of S, okay? And what I want to find first is the perimeter. So perimeter is well, first we have to find out what S is. So if we know this is 9, then we know that that is opposite the short side. So that means this has to be a 60-degree angle. And so therefore, this side has to be 9 square root 3. But that's half a side. So each side is 18 square root 3. So the perimeter is 3s, or 3 times 18 square root 3, which gives us 54 square root 3. Now we have everything we need to find the area. So area is equal to 1/2 the apothem, which is 9, times 54 square root 3. And so that gives us 243 square root 3 units squared. Right? Example 2. Let's say I have a square of side length S. Here's the center of the square. This would be the apothem. This would be the radius. Okay? And I know that the area is 100. So if the area is 100, then 100 units squared, okay, then each side has to be 10. Which means then that this segment right here has to be half of 10, or 5, right? And we know that this is a 90-degree angle, because 360 divided by 4 equals 90. So the central angle is 90 degrees. And so the apothem bisects that angle. So this is 45. This is a right. This is 45. So that means the apothem must be 5. And the radius must be 5 square root 3. I'm sorry, 5 square root 2. Thinking of a 30, 60, 90. So 5 square root 2. So the apothem is equal to 5 units, and the radius is equal to 5 square root 72 units. Okay. All right, and let's do one more example. Let's say I have a hexagon. Here's my center. So if it's a hexagon, I know that the central angle has to be 60 degrees. So if I drop an altitude, which is the apothem, that makes that a 30 degrees, so that means that has to be 60. Okay? And let's say I know that the sides of this are 12. Okay? And so if the sides are 12, this is a midpoint, so this has to be 6. So that means that the apothem is 6 square root 3, and the radius is 12. Okay? And so to find the area, it's 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. So I know the apothem, now I need the perimeter. So the perimeter is 12 times 6, which is 72. Okay? So now area is equal to 1/2 6 square root 3 times 72, or 216 square root 3 units squared.